Here we go. Guys, welcome to 2023 Business Planning. I'm Tiffany with the Local Element. I'm so excited you're here so we can plan for the best year in your real estate career. I know that that's a bold statement considering what we're going into, but I have a feeling that after we walk through this, you're going to feel renewed, refreshed, and like you have a plan to move forward. So let's just dive in. First thing I will say is you can absolutely stay with us right through what the questions are and then answer them accordingly. But I would highly recommend that if you have not already, go to the description in this video, the link to download the guide, and then you'll have it as a plan and something that you can physically put up on your wall to look at every single day and continue pointing you towards the vision that you created for what this year can be for you. We're going to get right into it. Your year in review. Let's talk about how 2022 went for you. I realize you may be watching this at a later date. That's okay. This is still applicable. First thing we're going to do is look at the last year. It's a great way to move forward is to evaluate last year. So first of all, 2022, what was your annual goal? If you didn't have one written out, that's totally okay, but put what was in your heart for that goal, what you were carrying around with you, if there was anything. And it may be you didn't necessarily know how you were going to get to that point, right? That was your goal, right? If you had a very specific goal, you wanted to have 44 closings in 2022, write that out. Whatever your goal was in 2022, we want that as a statement item right there. Next, did you hit it? Just yes or no. Did you hit that goal? What worked well when you were getting towards that goal? Even if you didn't hit it, what worked to help you project towards what you were doing? And only what worked. Were there people that you had in your life that helped you work towards this? Were there check-ins that you were having with your broker or your sales manager that was helping you move forward to this? Were there regular times that you set aside for prospecting that helped you move towards this? Did you develop a prospecting plan that helped you move toward this? There's a lot of different things, but we want to call out for you and the way that your brain works, what helped you move forward in this process. And this is going to be very much a you answer. I can't give you the answer, only you will know what helped motivate you forward. Okay, next up, what did not work well? What is something or somethings that happened in your last year, your last 12 months, that when you look at that annual goal, you say, ooh, I really should not have been doing this. And again, we'll ask the same questions. Were there people in your life that kept you distracted from your goal? Did you trust in some people and they didn't help you get there? Were there some time blocking issues in the way that you were spending your days that didn't help you get to it? There are, again, many different answers to this question, and it's going to be uniquely to you. But both of these questions are going to help us define the action items that we have moving forward. So we got to answer those. Everything considered, the whole year considered, your efforts, your actions, your time spent away, your vacations, your savings, your people, your purpose, your goal, everything considered. What is the grade that you would give yourself on this whole last 12 months? And be honest. If it's an A, it's an A. It's okay to have an A. If it's a B, that's okay. If it's C, that's okay. If it's a D, that's okay to say that. If it's an E, it's okay to say that. It's okay to say that. What you need to do is be honest with yourself right now. Okay, you've done it. You've graded your last year. That is a very difficult process and sometimes an emotional process. When you're looking back, you say, I know there are things that I could have done differently or better, or completely shifted my focus for a goal that made the most sense for my year. But as they say in The Lion King, the past is the past. It's time to move forward. So let's get to it. Let's get to start planning your next year. What we're going to do is a SWOT analysis of your business. So you may have heard of this term before. It's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for your business. The first two that we're going to focus on are strengths and weaknesses. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time in each of these sections first. These are internal things that we're going to focus internally on where we're hanging out for these. So first one, strengths. What are your strengths and what are the strengths of the business that you're currently running? So you might do very well the presentation of buyers and sellers. You might have a really good defined niche that you run very, very well, and you're the go-to person for that niche. You might talk to people very well. You might be very personable. You might be very organized, and that's what sets you apart from other agents. You're going to focus on what is your unique thing or what is the strongest thing that you're very proud of. And write down a couple of things in this section. What do you do better than anyone else that you know? Okay, next up, weaknesses. We're still looking internally. And again, we're going to be honest with ourselves here. We want to identify where you know the weakness is. Do you use your CRM regularly? Do you pay attention to the time blocking? Is your weakness the sales conversation, the approach in the sales conversation? Is your weakness that you don't know a defined space of where your business is coming from? It just happened in this last year. A couple different places that we can go in weakness, but you, again, it's going to be individualized to you. Where is your business weakness? Next up, we're going to move externally with these next two conversations. So if you see on the sheet, they're kind of shaded. Internally was that white section, the grayish section are external things. So opportunities, where do you see the opportunities in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, maybe even looking 10 years out? Where do you see those opportunities exist at for your business or for the real estate industry as a whole? And you want to explore that. One of the things that's currently on my mind, and I know has definitely been a conversation on YouTube rabbit holes that I've gone down, is the metaverse. The metaverse is an expanding, interesting, unregulated opportunity for the real estate industry that I don't think is being explored quite enough. And so I put that in our opportunities section. External things that are happening. Maybe an external opportunity is exploring another brokerage. Maybe an external opportunity is joining a team. What is external of you that could benefit your business or your actions or work towards a goal that you're going to set in this next year, 3 years, 5 years? We want to hang out in this space of what could be and where you're getting excited. Okay. Next, threats. I know how I feel about this section. You probably know how you feel about this section. Again, we're looking at external things that can affect your business. Very right off the top of my head, and interest rates and a housing bubble are all the conversation. So the real estate industry as a whole and the strength of that could be a threat that I write down in this section. We do not control the market. We can only control our reactions to it. And so when we're looking at what are threats in our industry, the reaction to interest rates is definitely one. And it's, if we were talking pre-2008, which I was in real estate pre-2008, the interest rates that we're experiencing right now would not have been considered a threat. But because of the time that we're in, because of the season that we're in, because of the market and consumer expectations, that is a very real threat that we're navigating right now. Again, just the same way the metaverse is an opportunity, it is very unregulated. It is like the wild, wild west of virtual real estate and virtual attention right now. So that could be in your threat column versus your opportunity column. You might not even know what the metaverse is, and that's fine. You don't even need to put that on there. But these are things that I'm thinking of, so maybe you're thinking of. This will be, again, very individualized for your business. This is external though, and things that are threatening your personal business. All right, got it? This next page is my very favorite. I like to think through things. I like to think of what ifs. I like to come up with 800 ideas and maybe 2 of them are actually good. And so this next page is where I do the things. So we're going to talk about what are issues, what are brain dumps, and what are new ideas for your business. And we are going to spend however much time you need. Just pause the video right now. What kind of thumbnail did you get for the pause? Okay, anyways, I want you to really spend some time focusing on this. Get all of the things out of your head, literally all of them. You might need to use the front and back of the page. Get all of your ideas out of your head. Get them out, put them on the page, get them in front of you visually. If you are a salesperson, you're most likely a visual person that you want to see and touch and explore. Put them on paper now. Did you do it? All right, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. This should be a good list of what's been carrying around in your brain as background noise that you maybe were paying attention to, maybe you weren't paying attention to. I have no idea. But this is stuff that's the shoulda, woulda, couldas in your brain as you're thinking about how to move forward. This is the stuff that you said, if I could only figure this out, this would be the thing, right? This is where hopefully some of your subconscious thoughts, anxieties, exploratory niches that you want to discover ended up on this page. Your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your all of the stuff on the page. Okay, let's talk about them. So when you're looking at this, where does your eye go first? Where is it hanging out at? Did you get it? Did you find it? Did you circle it? Circle it, circle it, circle it. Okay, good. Where does your eye go next as a priority or something that's just so persistently in your head? Where are you going? Circle it, circle it, definitely circle it. Okay, one more, one more. Where's your eye going next? What's the next priority on your page? Circle it. Okay, so you got 3 things on your page. These are in your mind the priorities. This is where your eye went first. This is like the word of the year word search puzzles, and they're like the first 3 words that you find are the words of your year. These are the first 3 issue brain dump new ideas that you found, and these are going to be the discoveries of your year. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Are you excited by these? Are you scared by them? Good. That means they're big enough and they've got enough of your attention, and the fact that you're excited about them means that you're going to stick to them. I'm so happy for you. So let's go to the next page, which is 2023. Let's make a plan. We've got the other things, right? We've got our SWOT analysis here. We've got our brain dump with our circled things. We've got our 2022 year in review is over here, but it's still mindful of some things that you might want to carry through on 2023. Okay, we've got those things going. Very first thing we're going to do is put our measurable in here. What is the one measurable at the end of the year we want to say done to? For real estate agents, this is typically closings. What's the number of closings that you want to get to at the end of your next 12 months? If you're doing this in May, what does it look like in May, right, of the following year? So let's do that now. Let's write down the number of closings we want to get to. Next, what is the sales volume you want to achieve in this next year? And you might be thinking, oh, sales volume. I didn't even pay attention to that for the last year. I want you to pay attention to it this year so that you know where you're aiming, and it will give us more measurable, breakdownable chunks in what we're shooting for each quarter. Because if you know within the quarter you're not hitting the number that you've set for yourself, it's very clear to see, okay, there is a gap in where we're supposed to be going. How can I shift this way or this way? So let's do that. Next, from that sales volume, all right, let's do a quick calculation to what your gross commission could be off of that. So what I calculate is 2.75%. I don't know what they're going to negotiate with the seller if I'm on the buyer side, but I do know what I can calculate if I'm on the seller side, because that's a negotiation that I can have directly with the seller. So because there is the unknown factor of what's negotiated on the other side, I put 2.75%. So I take the sales volume multiplied by 2.75%, and that's going to give me the revenue number that I'm getting to. You put in your number there. All right, last one, profit. This is a number that I don't think gets talked about enough. A lot of people focus on sales volume, a lot of people focus on revenue, but at the end of the day, what did you work all year for? This took me a long time to figure out and accept. It is not okay to be in business and to not have a profit. That is not a business. That is a volunteer activity. That is a nonprofit activity. That is not something that is sustainable for the following year, and definitely not going to contribute to sound sleep, which you need in order to be effective. So what will your profit be? What you're going to do is take your revenue minus any brokerage fees that you have, minus any standard expenses that you have. There are a lot of variable expenses that people that struggle with shiny object syndrome have. We're going to take those out until you decide if you're going to put them back in or not. It will take a lot of determination, but if you need to pause this video right now and go back through what your last year's spending is, brokerage fees, minus fixed expenses, minus any variable expenses that you want to include in there, minus taxes, and that's your profit. Are you happy with that number? Okay, the quickest little aside, the way to increase that number is to increase the number of clients you have, to increase the price point you're working at, or to decrease your expenses. Those are the 3 ways to have more profit. If you don't like the number that you've just come to, start with those 3 things. Good? Good. So when you're looking at this and you're looking at your page of brain dump and you're looking at your SWOT analysis for your business, we have to set some goals for how you're going to get there. So how will this number be achieved? How will this happen? So let's take that and let's take this and let's write out some goals, some things that you need to do this year in order to make that real life. So the first thing, if your measurable is double the number of closings that you have, right? and your sales volume is double the sales volume you had in the previous year, I will say, go you. I'm so excited for you if that is in fact the case. How are we going to get there? Write out your goals. You should have between 3 and 7 items on there that you're going to be responsible for accomplishing this year in order to get to those. Is it a new niche? Is it bringing on a software that's going to help automate your business so more time of your time is spent with people? Is it bringing on an admin or a transaction coordinator, again, to do that paperwork so more of your time can be spent with people? Is it developing a prospecting plan with your broker so that you have more confidence in the approach, the sales conversation that you're having with people, so that you can have more conversations to have more clients for that? Is it to spend more time with your family because you have been going so incredibly fast in real estate that you've neglected some of the most important people in your life, which was not at all the goal when you got into real estate? What are the goals that are going to get you to this thing? Pause the video, write them out. Okay, next we're going to go to Q1 of 2023. What's your first quarter? We're going to look at our annual goals. We're going to look at our annual goals and make a plan for, okay, if I know that this is my annual goal, if my annual goal for very, very, very easy numbers, because I'm doing math without a calculator right now, if your annual goal is 40 closings and there are 4 quarters in the year, then you know you need to get to 10 closings in the first quarter, right? So you're going to put the measurable, 10 clients served or 10 closings, whatever it is. Next, sales volume. For 40 closings, the sales volume would be 16 million. For Q1, that's 16 divided by 4. That's 4 million that you've got to get to sales volume in the first quarter, right? That's what your sales volume number is. Okay, and then for revenue, the 2.75% of 4 million is going to be right around 110,000. So I would put that in revenue. And then I would subtract out brokerage fees, fixed costs. These are things like closing gifts, advertisement, open house spend, signs. Take all of those fixed expenses, take them out. What's your, and taxes, take all of those expenses out. What is your profit for this? Does that feel like a good quarter for measurement? You can measure how you get there. Great. Okay, now we're going to look at our goals for that year and say, okay, this is what I said I need to do by the end of the year in order to get this measurable and in order to have a great year, a year that I'm proud of, a year that I say, yes, this was a great year in real estate. What do you need to do this quarter on the way to those goals? Okay, what we're looking at right now is, can you measure the outcome of this? Are they specific enough that you know you can say yes or no at the end of the quarter, this was done, or at the end of the year, this was done, yes or no? It's not vague, right? We need it specific. We need to be able to measure if we did it, yes or no. Is it actually attainable? This is something that you can do. Look at it. Is it realistic? And is it time-based? So at the end of the quarter, you're going to say yes, done or not done. At the end of the year, you're going to say done or not done. This is how you write SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. These are how you write effective goals. These are how you write goals that get done. So when you look at these, can you answer both of them and say, yep, 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 there it is. Yep. Okay, great, great. You got great goals. If you cannot, please rewrite them in a way that makes the most sense for you, that you can measure if you actually did it. It's specific enough that somebody else could look at that goal and say, oh yeah, you did that. Yep, got it. Check. It's attainable, it's realistic for you, and it has an end date of when you want to achieve it. So many times when people just keep goals up in their head and there's no end date to it, it is very easy to continue to push that off. I find that when I have somebody that knows my goal, knows when it's supposed to be done, I am more likely to achieve it because I don't want to let them down. It's very easy to decide for myself to let myself down if there's nobody that's going to be tracking me in this progress. And that's just a human component for some people. It's what it is. It is for me. But the second somebody challenges my ability to get to that, or holds me accountable, or questions me about it, or says, or asks me about it in the process, I now know that I want to make sure this thing happens. That's why I do better in group exercise rather than going by myself to the Planet Fitness. It's just what it is. I need to run alongside somebody, and a lot of people do. So if that's you, we can talk about accountability classes at another point. But right now, make sure somebody could look at your goals and say, oh, yep, I see that. I can see how you did that or did not do that. Okay, so what we have done is we've planned out your year. We've planned out your quarter. We've given you a roadmap of how to achieve it. The very last item in here is your monthly habit tracker. And so what we're going to do last page is month of, and just start wherever you are. Don't wait till the next month to start it. Involve this habit right now. So month of, wherever you're at, what's your month? And then you're going to write out the annuals over on the side there. You see them? You're going to write out how many closings you're going to get to, client served, whatever you want to say it as, the measurable, sales volume, revenue, and profit. Put those right at the top. Those are going to be consistent throughout your entire next year. So you're going to put them right on every single habit tracker you got. Next is your quarterly goals. What are those items that you want to accomplish this quarter? Put them in there. And then based on those quarterly goals, what is your monthly project you're focused on? You might have one or two more than is space for it right here, but what's the overarching project that you need to be reminded of? Good. And then based off of that, what are your weekly action items that you need to get to? Do you need to send out birthday cards? Do you need to make coffee appointments? Do you need to send out CMAs? Do you need to prospect your niche? Whatever you're doing, what are your weekly action items that you need to get to, and make them very specific. If you need to send out 5 CMAs to your geofarming neighborhood, put it on there. You see that? And then each week when you do it, you just tick off that little circle there. Yep, did it. Yep, did it. Yep, did it. Great. Good work. All right, and then the last one are daily habits. Let's have a heart-to-heart. Easiest thing for somebody that is focused in the moment to push off to tomorrow is what won't give them any gains until 3 months from now, 1 year from now, maybe 18 months from now. I had an agent that started a farm in the community that she lives in. She was already part of this community. It took her from the time she started to the time she had her first closing 18 months. She is now by far the listing agent selling top producer in that zip code by far, because of the persistence that she had in it. But it took daily action items related to what she was doing, her target, in order to get to it. You need to stay hyper focused on your goals. I highly encourage you to keep the things that we've gone over right where you can see them every single day. The prospecting activities that you need to do, and maybe you still need to define what those prospecting activities are, need to happen every single day. The gap between where you want to go and where you are right now is what you want to do versus what you know you need to do for your sales career. You have to focus on this. So when we're focusing on what are our daily habits that we need to achieve, do not ignore the ones that you know you need to do. Please, please, for your business, please for your purpose, please for what you're developing so that you can retire. Please do not neglect your daily habits. You will be so much further next year, and you will thank yourself if you focus on what those daily action items are, which are the things that you can control in order to get to those goals that you have. So we're going to sit here, we're going to write out, okay, based on my goals, based on my targets, based on what I'm looking to do for this next year and the life that I want to lead, what are the daily habits that you need to have every single day? Write them out. And then each day through the month, you'll start on if it's the middle of the month, you'll start on the day that it is, put a little dot in there, color it in however you want to keep track of it. And then you'll see at the end of the month very clearly, what did I do? What did I not do? How did that impact the goals that I'm trying to achieve? It is not complex to have an incredible life as a real estate agent. What is difficult is the consistency of doing the items that you know you need to do. You can do it. I know you can do it, but you have to have a vision for it. You have to have a plan for it, and you have to have daily action items for it. All right, guys, subscribe, share this with a friend, go get templates if you would like this a little bit more formalized to write on. Otherwise, put your notes up where you want them to go, and I will be back with more next week.